came in 74 from Canada, which was a long way then. Now it's very short. In those days, it took, of course, there was no smartphone, no cell phone, no computer, no internet, no nothing. Communication by letter, it took another 3 weeks to go one way, 3 weeks to come back. I had written to the mother when she was still here, introducing myself, and she accepted me. But I did not come until 74. Then I came to Matrimandir. I started to work in Matrimandir. And small break in the ashram for a couple of years, then back to Matrimandir in the later 70s. And I've been there ever since, helping all the phases of construction. One of the main lessons there is that it's through working together that we grow together. All our mental ideas, our different languages, it's all can be cause for separation and dispute. But simply passing jetties of concrete together, building scaffolding together with people of different countries, different languages, is a very binding thing, and was so for several decades at Matrimandir. It was a great experience, and it still is. We have about 60 Aurovillians on a daily basis at Matrimandir, 150 workers, 60 Aurovillians daily, and another 150 as volunteers with Kartik or in the chamber with Dorothy or night duty, night watch. So a good 200 Aurovillians are involved in Matrimandir work regularly, plus 150 workers. And we have a ways to go. The target is to finish, I don't have a map. We're to finish the gardens before 2028. 2028 is a very significant year. What is special about 2028? Mother's 150th. Then Auroville's 60th. 60. Yeah. And it happens so that there's a February 29th in there. So it will be a crazy week in 2028. So we are trying to finish the 12 gardens. We have 2.5 more to go. We are well advanced on Harmony Garden. We have to do perfection on one side and youth on the other side by 2028. Also, we're working massively on the lake, a huge action going on the lake at the moment to finish section 2. I don't know if you walk around there, do you see the action in the lake sometimes? Not so much. We had excavated, so phase 1 was 100 meters long, 100 meters wide. It was waterproof, lined, everything fine, 2 end walls built. Then in November 24, there was a cyclone Fengal, and the lake, which was 10 meters full deep with water, it broke open the wall, and all the water went sploosh into section 2. So cleaned up all of that. Now we have excavated the next 300 meters, waterproofed it over the last 2 months with HDPE liner and geotextile, and now over the last month, putting a foot of granite jelly over the whole thing to protect the surface from puncture. Just finishing now. And on Monday, we'll have the final concrete, the foundation of the new end wall. And then we'll proceed very rapidly to build up another wall on top of the foundation. We're using about 4,000 of these concrete blocks and waterproof it before the upcoming monsoon, so we can catch the rainwater. That's the program for the lake. Lake section 1, we had filled to the top during 3 monsoons just by harvesting the rainwater from the Matrimandir garden. All of the pathways in Matrimandir slope outwards from the center into this open water channel you must have seen running around that collects the water, and then it spills into the lake. So like that, During the monsoon, we'll begin to fill up lake section 2 and 1, which is now one big section, 400 meters long. Part of the next section of the lake on the eastern side is where all our workshops are. So working, people doing everything from cooking to the laundry, chamber laundry, metal workshop, wood workshop, painting, plumbing. All of that is in the way, it's in the lake. So we have to move all of that out of there into some temporary facility over the next year or so that the lake on that eastern side can be done. So a lot of action to be done.
The gardens are replaced or will be
the gardens?
Tell about the gardens.
So the gardens, it's an interesting question. Okay, have you read Mother's description of the chamber? She always, from 65 onwards, as she was conceiving Auroville, the project, she began to mention the center as a center. And then in early 1970, January 1970, she actually had a vision of how this chamber would look when coming to the gardens. She described it in full detail, 12-sided, 24 meters wide, white carpet, 12 columns, and lit by a single ray of sun falling on a crystal globe. Then she called our architect, Roger Auger, to design a building to hold the room that she had seen. He came up with 3, 4, 5 models. Also, Paolo Tomasi, another architect, was there. Finally, she settled on the one we have today. Surrounded by these 12 petals with their meditation rooms and surrounded by the 12 gardens. She said at one point the gardens are as important as the Matrimandir itself. She gave a huge importance to the gardens. She named each one. Existence, consciousness, bliss, life, power, wealth, utility, progress, youth, harmony, and perfection. And as she had a huge contact with flowers, she had named by that time something like 900 flowers. She would concentrate on a flower, its aroma, its color, everything, and give that vibration that she could perceive. And that way she gave the name to 900 different flowers. There's a book which has been compiled about all of that. From those, she chose a specific flower for each of the 12 gardens. And then there's another group of related flowers and shrubs which accompany that for each garden. And the garden designers used that. Plus, Roger made a plan, a layout for the gardens. The gardens is an oval. The oval is 10 times the vertical section of Matrimandir. Matrimandir is 29 meters high and 36 meters wide. The gardens are 360 meters long, east-west, and 290 meters north-south, if you look from the top. And then the 12 main gardens are inside that, around the building. And at the western edge, there's the Garden of the Unexpected, which has been built also, mostly for children. Roger said that he made a design which didn't have basically any trees, anything in it. It was very hot. Finally, he said, okay, let there be a... Then he asked Paolo Tomasi, a famous Italian designer, to design the gardens. Paolo worked on it for 2 years, came up with beautiful designs. And Roger was not satisfied. And then he said, okay, let there be an Auroville team working on it. And then he passed away in 2008, February. So at that moment, okay, pause button on the gardens. The building foundation was concreted in 1972. How many of you were on the earth in 1972? Only one. Only one. Okay. So excavation was done in 71, concreting in 72. Then for the next 30 years, it was a continuous construction for 36 years till 2008 to build the building. The concrete structure, the whole huge 4 pillars matching at the top and the chamber, and then the outer dome of precast beams was all guided by Piero Cisinisi, who lives with his wife in Circle 2. He's still there. He's 91 or 2 now. So for the first 20 years, he would come every day and give us the drawings, how to build it, what to do. We didn't have to think anything. We just had to bend the steel, build the scaffolding, pour the concrete, done. And then after, put the marble and all of that. Then, when the room was done, in about 93, 92 or so, the marble was put, 93, the carpet was put, and the Sherburne was symbol in the grove. Then Piero stopped, and Roger's team took over for the development of the 12 petals around and the gardens. So back to the gardens. So Roger passed away in February 2008, leaving us with the chaos in terms of garden planning. Roger himself had already designed the Garden of Unity, which is that garden with 6 circles and with that fountain, or there's a fountain and a mini amphitheater where there's some plays sometimes. That's Roger's design. So we said, okay, we will do that according to Roger's design, but the community can design the 12. A group formed. It was Maurizio, Marie, and Mark, and they came up with the design for the first 3, starting in 2009, so existence, consciousness, and bliss. Then, after a while, they stopped. Another team emerged in 2015, which was Mark and Mira. They came up with a design for the remaining 9. We started with 1, which was Progress Garden. Then wasn't so great, so we stopped all of that, had a community competition for the Garden of the Unexpected, which is on the western side. And several Auroville designers participated, Mona, Joss, Jyoti, Japanese Jyoti, several people. And then they worked around 2019, and that's why you have that 4-part Garden of Unexpected done. Roger said the gardens would be evolutionary, would change as our understanding of things change. So what you see now in the Garden of Existence is not at all like what was built in 2009. It's been changed drastically. Now you have these quartz crystals there. That's the design from Michael Bonke, actually. And the design that was originally there was removed. Sorry. I would turn this off. Then, Bliss Garden, the 3rd one, has also recently been redone over the last 2 years by Oro's son. Oro's son is one of the oldest children in Auroville. He already has his own children who are already grown-ups, son of Frederick and Shama. So he redid the center of Bliss Garden. When you go there, you see these 5 bowls with a fountain, curtains. How many of you have not been in the Matrimandir Gardens? You've not been. Everybody else has been. A little bit. Why haven't you been? You need to go. So gardens change, as we understand it more. As I said, we still have to do perfection and roof. Youth, we're building a big underground storeroom in it where we can put equipment, have some toilets, etc. Because the Matrimandir eventually will be fully surrounded by water. It will be an island, so no place. The more hidden storage you have, the better. Under the amphitheater, there are 2 huge rooms, one on the east, one on the west. On the east is our whole electrical control room and the green room. You know, a green room for performers. We have beautiful mirrors and toilets and showers and AC for the performers. Tonight, by the way, the secretary's daughter is dancing at 7 o'clock. On the other side is an equally huge room where we have rooms for garden tools, equipment for performances, etc. So under like that, under youth garden, we'll have a big storeroom also. The mother was very clear about things. She was totally practical. So when she said, it has been decided and remains decided that the Matrimandir will be surrounded by water. So pretty definitive statement. She said that, I think this is somewhere, it's between 65 and 71. But she said, we don't have the water now, so we will build Matrimandir and bring the water around it later. So now is later. In the same conversation, she referred to desalination. She referred to the Israeli experiments in desalination. So Michael and the Verona team have begun work on a desalination plant. It hasn't advanced very far, but it's there. So that's on the cards. Yeah.
So I see that Matrimandir has been being built even now we have worked with gardens in the day. And I could imagine that there might be a lot of people working continuously, like you said, there are some 150 volunteers and staff work. I want to understand what, because since also people come with the intention to volunteer off at a time, what are the challenges that you see even with the volunteers? Because regarding in terms of work that happens inside, because it's voluntary they're coming. I want to understand the challenges with the people who are volunteering inside. How do they or how does Matrimandir find that integrity between these workers to do? Because if I want to do gardening, I will do it by myself in my own garden. But I sometimes feel like running Matrimandir and I'm doing it again. I have that spirit one day, but to push that the next day or the other day, it maybe is a little tough for me. But you might see a lot of people who come to work as volunteers. Do you face any challenges with the volunteers? Because if there is a task to be finished, will it be finished? Will people help? Like, will they go for it? Or how do Matrimandir like help keep things going?
So, okay, so we have 150 paid salaried workers, plus a small group of volunteers for work on the ground, plus all these people who come for chamber and night watch and everything. For the work on the ground, so Matrimandir's structure is like this. We have a management group of 5 people, of which I am one, and then we have a larger group of coordinators, about 20 of them, and each one has a work area, like Kartik is taking care of garden volunteers, somebody else is taking care of employees in the garden. Someone takes care of masons. Somebody takes care of the earth movers. Somebody takes care of the scaffolding team, the electricians, the plumbers. So all these coordinators relate to the management team. We have weekly meetings together. We organize the work, and it kind of bumbles along. So the coordinator is key there in the gardens. Kartik tells everybody what to do. And the other coordinators guide their teams also. They cannot just go and spontaneously do what they want to do in a public garden.
And I'm very glad that Matrimandir is the only place where anybody can voluntarily go and work there.
Not the only place. I
I
think
mean,
you
it's
can
an
go.
open place. If you're really interested in volunteer or work, I know that Matrimandir is a place that I can go even in a day for 2 hours if I have to give.
Yeah, Kartik appreciates a longer commitment, but
For it,
okay.
yeah.
But Solar Kitchen will take people. They need people to wash dishes every day. Actually,
Also, Auroville.
for Orchard, you take volunteers.
Yeah, they always take like.
How many people are you there? How many people are there?
Volunteers like right now 10, 12, there are 20 workers.
Mm-hmm. Quite big. And the Auroville team?
And it's just like I'm sure with like like managing, and there is only one house million, then there are two apartments.
Eric is there, no? Eric?
Yeah, it's there, but he doesn't come every day.
Oh, okay,
Just managing the bee.
the bees. He's a beekeeper. Oh.
Linda is not, he doesn't come.
And Justin?
Yes, Linda is there. But she doesn't, she lives there, they're not active in the day to day activities. He takes care of the cows, but cows we just use the cow and for the farm. We don't use them in we do use the eggs of the ducks. She also takes care of the ducks and I have also a question. So at the beginning of the book, in the early days of the Matrimandir, there were like no trees was so hot. And even what it was external environment was very rough. Yet at your people slowly narrated in the books, they were so excited and so joyful to work. Whereas like now we see that there are so much such good environment, so much more comfort and so what is the reason?
Well, totally as you described, the external comfort then was different, much less. You're right, it was empty, dusty, there were dust storms. There was a thing called the Matrimandir Workers' Camp, for example. It was a keyed and bamboo structure positioned in what is now in the gardens, kind of unexpected now, where 20 people lived. There were 20 rooms, common bathroom, common shower, and all that. And these people went daily to Matrimandir, then to the center kitchen, and back to their camp. So it was just a happy life flow, taking all our energy to build Matrimandir. Now, as you say, things are totally different. We have an embarrassing number of restaurants around. We had no restaurants then. One community kitchen on this end, and one in Aspiration, and one in Fraternity. So totally different. But not. No. The Auroville energy is still there under all this bubbling surface. I think it's still fine if you're quiet and connect with it. Was that your question?
Yeah, I mean, in general, like, where is that spirit of working together and being really passionate about what we are doing? We have so much of complaint now with.
It was a huge blessing to have Matrimandir to build together. The mother spoke of it at the time as a force of cohesion in Auroville. As I mentioned earlier, different languages, different ideas, doesn't matter, you just get there and pour the concrete and build the scaffolding, it was all good. We don't have that now, it's true. Many people have commented. There are other projects. I don't know how this part is going to work out. It's still a question to be answered, how this will go. There is this group who's organizing this. There are other groups who organize many things, trying to keep the Auroville spirit alive in spite of the superficial. Well, aside from the political aspect, the fact that now there's not a central project to work on together is what you're commenting on. It's very true. We often think about it, but we're going on somehow.
Anybody wants to ask me any question? Then please feel free to. Let's keep it open. It is open conversation. You can ask anything, please.
So, I used to visit Auroville for the past few years, maybe 5 years back. Those timings is not like now. I can walk around the Matrimandir, not even inside, outside also. I keep my bike and everything take on one side. I get the crowd on. Nowadays, everything is blocking. It looks like a construction site.
You mean in the center of Auroville, around Matrimandir?
Not inside.
Not inside, yes, because
Some changes are irreversible changes are happening here.
ATDC is trying to make the area within the Crown Road non-motorbike area. So they're starting with not a four-wheeler area. So the road that was coming from the Nandanam Inn has been blocked to four-wheelers. The road that was there temporarily from the nursery is blocked to four-wheelers. They want only cycles and motorbikes in the center to quiet the whole thing down. It's a change. It's always been changing. In the beginning, the road, it was a parabolic road, came straight across from the Certitude area by the amphitheater, by the banyan tree, and then went off to the north. That is actually a parabolic road. And the bullock carts with those huge double wooden wheels were rolling that way. So that changed. Then we started to build fences because we had trees and we needed to keep the goats and cows out. And then we had watchmen. So it's all changing. Hopefully we change with it.
The main more thing, one of them telling, if you become an Auroville, you go to 128 and 135 countries, they need no restrictions, heavy restrictions like that. It is true,
What was the question?
if you become an Auroville,
Come on, Auroville.
yeah, after that we have to move nearly 128 countries. There is no restrictions are there. You go like your hometown like that, there some of them telling that it is true or not?
Not true. You want to go to other countries with no restriction.
Yes.
After becoming an Auroville, no, that's more like.
That's totally a rumor.
Some of them telling like that.
No.
It's an international township. If they are not living here, they have some of them doing like that. So I want to clear you.
It's an international township, but everybody has to have their visa and their passport still, unfortunately. You cannot travel freely around the world yet.
Okay.
And does Matrimandir take volunteers and you tell us the process?
We have a few areas that take volunteers, definitely with Kartik. You just go and meet him. He will want you to commit for a minimum of a few weeks. Other areas like chamber duty, petal duty, helping in the laundry, these areas will take volunteers, but you have to be newcomers, at least newcomers. Or, yes, I think you have to be a newcomer at least, or intending to be a newcomer to do a volunteer.
Next time, it's because
Yeah. Hmm?
Is there a school also volunteer at your entity in Matrimandir?
To do what? It's a bare stone.
Posting videos probably or whatever.
So there is a very active program group, events group, half a dozen people, like organizing this evening's program. They're all super busy running around. They might be interested to help, some help. They do exist.
I don't know what person to speak.
Well, they're all mostly Williams. Jyoti Kare, for example. Jyoti Kare, like when the flower decoration was happening for Orville's birthday, there were dozens of people helping to prepare the flowers.
You have to imagine like there's a constant items also that for example the dawn fire is a big engagement. People realize yours is going in the morning, so we're like, okay, why shall we just go on stage and we'll space and forward. There is always like feeling this
A huge organization to set up the bonfire, yes.
So that's where my curiosity comes from.
Where are you working?
When I
Or you're-
have been volunteering at a few places depending on event. So prior Shruti is
Ah,
you know
with Shaili and Co? Ah, okay.
them and then
So it's possible. Talk to Jyoti.
oh, thank you.
Anybody have any questions? And you want to know anything else regarding work, not just really Matrimandir, in general?
Yes, there are like so many restaurants coming around, so many things happening around all of it. So how do you like see how to deal with these large numbers and how it's different
Did you get this question? It's a good one. There's so many distractions, you can call them, coming up. How do you stay focused and go through? So then you go to another level and you ask yourself why you're in Auroville. If you're in Auroville for the reasons that the mother expected, then you're doing some kind of yoga, some kind of effort to develop consciousness, and then you have to make the effort not to be distracted. It's a discipline. Very easy to be constantly distracted, especially now. So there are different groups, there are different people giving classes on all kinds of things, Savitri, Sri Aurobindo's works. Go online and you can find everything. It's basically to create your own life discipline, which is not too crazy, but something to keep you on track, to keep your focus, some daily practice of some kind, which is not too silly. I say that because I've just read that Sri Aurobindo was saying that if a practice is if it's too strict, self-discipline, it only makes the practitioner proud. It doesn't help in his development. So it's an effort. You keep asking yourself the question, how to stay focused. A good question.
Also, that reminds me of something about mother, something I told your mother about, I said, like, work is your divine force. When I relate to this session, when I came here as a volunteer, I worked as a volunteer at multiple places, and it really helped me to discover, like, inner discovery in any way possible that I could say. I think that reflects what you have just said also. That
Absolutely. Work, especially physical work, is essential to keep grounded here. No? Otherwise, you would fly off in so many clouds of speculation and concern. Physical work, at least for some hours a day. And the mother did say one is here to do a karma yoga. So then you have to try to understand what on earth does karma yoga mean in your daily life.
How do you see money? How do you see money being in Auroville, or how do you look at money?
Okay, that's a whole nother topic. Money is a flow, interchange for work and action. The mother did not want interchange of money in Auroville. We're in some kind of intermediate state now where we don't have cash, but we all have accounts and cards and phones and GPay and there's a whole chapter in the book, The Hour of God, in the book of the Mother Hour of God, where Sri Aurobindo speaks about the money force and its use. It's a very positive thing for enriching the creation. It should get into the right hands. The mother was all for developing strong industries, and the ashram was full of industries to support the wealth of the community. So it's a part of the game, absolutely. We are not expected to live the life of a bare life with no facilities brought by me. You don't have to sleep on grass mats. It's not required.
So, while we are volunteering for various units and spaces, what's the fair ask for an exchange that we can put up to request, and I'm not talking about money. But in terms of inputs across the energy, how, what is a good way to request for an automatic exchange? Because you have to sustain it.
Yes, yes.
So,
Some of the Matrimandir volunteers we provide lunch for example. That's all we do for them. We give them lunch. They work, we give them lunch. That's one thing you can, I think, fairly ask wherever you work. Whether it be in the farm or anywhere. If you're regular and sustained and helpful. After that, you go into the maintenance system where there are several different levels. Yeah.
I want to ask something that is more about the architecture, but I think the case of Auroville will help me understand that dilemma I have in my mind. So there was a case that if there is a community that have its values, ideas, conceptions, and some kind of rules regulations, not expressed explicitly, but there are some rules and regulations. And one of the rules is to accept everybody and something like that, kindness movement. And if they keep that value in themselves, then the evils of surroundings with neighbors and penetrate. So for that, you have to have thick walls and big doors. So thick walls is how you not allow something, and big door is how you welcome things that you want you come to utilize. So I'm really interested in the ideas of how Auroville maintain these thick walls and big doors.
Good question. We have always, well, at least from the mid-80s onwards, had an entry group who would talk to people, try to evaluate their true interest. When the mother spoke about this, she referred to the energy of the place itself would push people away who were not useful, not helpful. No, they would just get fed up and go. That's written in her conversations about Auroville. But now, again, as it's larger and more people around and more activities, we need to have some kind of filter and also an exit group. You know, if somebody is really not fitting, but not fitting according to what standard is the question. Nowadays, it's a bit blurred, I would say. So yeah. My feeling is that people who are really meant to be here arrive by whatever direction, whatever means. They come, they're here, and they will stay here eventually. And those who don't fit will go away. Hard to say though, as the community grows and grows, there's many more chances and niches for all kinds of things. It's a complex thing.
We have 5 more minutes. If you have any questions, we can still do this, or we will close this session. If you have any more questions, we can take maybe 1-2 questions.
after feedback for something.
Yeah, we'll take 5 minutes. We have some feedback form where you can just quickly write it, and we will keep it for us, your feedback. So what we can do more for you, or anything that you want us to let us know. So in the last, we'll take 5 minutes for that. So I think if you have any questions, you can still ask.
I think that was about your opinion with Madam you mentioned.
No, I said I came in 74, she left in 73. I was writing to her. So there were a few letters back and forth. So we had that external contact, plus whatever internal contact is there. She did accept me. I sent my photo. I was a young university graduate. I sent my photo. She put blessings on the back and said some things. So that much contact I had. It's another story.
So also, Jhon, would you like to say anything? And about, because now we are all here to talk about what is work and what is work for us in Auroville. What is it here? So would you like to say something and then?
Well, I think I've talked about work a fair bit, especially at Matrimandir. It's okay.
Yeah, all right. All right, then thank you so much.
Good, okay.
Thank you so much.